Bobby, give us the first fight, man.
Li Jingliang versus Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates is the guy taking it back to old school martial arts, smoking some cigarettes after a win, real casual and everything. Just, I love to see it, man. All these guys, all these nerds out there, all these women out there being nerds when it comes to the sport, eating clean, training hard, D-ball, and Navar give up all that. This guy's just like, let me rip some heaters after this win. Just straight chilling out there with some ciggies, getting jiggy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So, yeah, Carlos Prates. This man doesn't have Muay Thai tattooed in English across his chest for nothing. Striker, won his last 3 fights by strike finishes. Just an absolute animal, only 30 years of age. Knee to the body win in round numero uno against Charles Radke. Straight left round 2 win over Trevin Giles. He's active too. So he fought February this year, June this year, going to fight August of this year. I love the activity. You're not seeing activity levels of 3 fights in a year like this anymore, unless you're like living in, the medieval times of 2015 where you had guys like just animals fighting 4 times a year. Cards didn't suck. Oh God, I'm going down memory lane. Anyway, Mitch Ramirez beat him with a straight left August last year to get his Contender Series contract, get signed to the UFC. So yeah, Carlos Prates is on a heater to say the least. I mean, before that, head kick win in LFA, another head kick win in LFA, jab win in SFT, strikes win in SFT, ground and pound in SFT. You got to go all the way back to 2021 with this man's activity level to see the last time he didn't get a finish. And it's really nice to especially see that finishing power translate into the UFC after 2 fights now. So many fighters just for whatever reason can't finish fights through strikes or subs. Once they make it to the UFC, Carlos Prates is full steam ahead with 2 finishes of 2 UFC caliber fighters in the promotion thus far, that quick together. Choo-choo, baby. In the words of Artem Lobov, choo-choo, motherfuckers. So, all that to say, I guess you can probably tell who I'm on, who Vegas is on, who you should be on. It's Carlos Prates. And here's some additional info to kind of flush out the argument for you. Li Jingliang is coming off a 2-year layoff. Before that, controversial split decision loss to Daniel Rodriguez in a loss that is aging like milk left out in the Arizona sun in the middle of July. Not aging very well at all. Muslim Salikov TKO win, once again, aging like baby food left out in the desert. Lost to Hamzat Shemaev, no shame in that. And then he's had a lot of injuries. That 2-year layoff is the result of a spinal injury that he sustained preparing for his fight with, I believe, is Michael Chiesa. Anytime a spinal injury occurs, I'm very concerned. He tried to play it off, saying it was just a pinched nerve or something like that. I'm thinking it's a little bit more serious. Obviously, it's a smart thing to say, hey, it was just a pinched nerve and not admit to your opponent how compromised you were type thing. But he was out for 2 years. And I don't think a pinched nerve is going to put you out for 2 years. So that's a lot of red flags there for having a spinal injury and it sidelining you that much. And yeah, he's 36. He's been in the UFC for a while. He's very spotty since 2020 for 4 years now. Loses, wins, loses, wins, loses. Could this be the win? Sure, of course it could be. I could also wake up and Sydney Sweeney could be in my bed the next morning. It's possible, sure. Is it going to happen? Highly unlikely. So, yeah, to cut this short, sweet, to the point, I'm not betting my money on the guy who's older, coming off a 2-year layoff with a serious spinal injury, who is not the striker that I believe Prates to be. I think he still is that guy. He's proven that he's that guy. And all indication is pointing to Li Jingliang being the guy who is unfortunately on the decline. And I know that kind of saddens you because everybody was riding that man's knob because he wore a suit to like the Tony Ferguson fight or didn't get to wear it. I don't even remember the damn story, but here's the last thing I'll get at here. Your odds are absolutely atrocious on this fight, and for good reason, to further prove my point of why I'm on Prates. Minus 375 money line for him, plus 295 for Jingliang. I just can't justify Jingliang. Like, also can't justify practice by KO TKO. That's -110. Clearly, Vegas also believes that's going to end in a knockout, as do I, but that's not really helping you. By decision +250 could, but that's not taking the sting off the money line. So why am I going to mess with it? Submission at +1200 is not at play at all. If you're just absolutely desperate to look for something on this is just a long shot. This isn't a haymaker or anything. Just a cheeky little bet you could put. You could play on this fight to just try to do something to kind of get yourself some profit on this fight with how bad Prates is as a favorite. I'm looking at fight props on DraftKings here. Li Jingliang eye gouged the ever-loving hell out of Jake Matthews when they fought, and it was terrible. It actually resulted in some long-term issues. Jake Matthews has come out and said how bad the eye gouge was because Jake Matthews locked in a pretty deep sub on Jingliang. So his defense was to just do the Urban Martell on the mountain from Game of Thrones on him and almost bust his shit like grapes. So if you want a point to be deducted, yes, at +2,000, that's all I got for you. Because there ain't much else that's worth messing around with on this particular fight. What do you got, Ben?
You fucking virgin.
Oh, wowzers. Did not expect this already.
I know you did it, man. I was just gearing up that entire time you were talking, man. Have you seen Li Jingliang fight?
Yes, and that's why I picked against him.
Look at that. Oh! That's called speed. That's called speed, boy.
Speed.
Carlos Prates, man. I get what you're saying. The dude, for Li Jingliang, he's older. He had the spinal injury. He's been gone for a long time. Everything you said is accurate, and that's exactly what Vegas is pushing. That's what they want you to know. Right now, 14% of the bets are coming in, 21% of the money. So we got some sharp money coming in on Li Jingliang. Man, he took those 2 years off, but think of it this way, though. He's not rushing back from a spinal injury, and he's coming back and he's fighting. So if he's coming back, that means you don't get in that cage if you don't think you can win, if you don't think you can go. So he took the time he needed. He said he's reinvented himself as a fighter, and he's coming back, man. Prates, however you want to say it, man, barbecued. I think he's going to come in. Li Jingliang, maybe the knockout. Maybe decision. I don't know. I don't need a pick right now with the money line almost +300. It's pretty much a draw for Vegas. But I'm telling you, man, something's telling me that there's something cooking with Li. And you need to be on him.
No, man. I think the only thing being cooked right now is some meth. I got sponge dogs. That man's not it. But, hey, I'll shout you out if it comes true. But I think Carlos Prates is going to smoke him like a Marlboro Red after fight sig.
We'll see, man. Well, that's another thing, man. This man's got damaged lungs. He's about to get it from Li. Li's going to give it to him. All he can handle.
I was going to say something, but I'd probably get us canceled.